Welcome to Competitive Crunch. My name is Spade, and this is a show which is not quite bite-sized. Hence the crunch. It is more powerful and super effective. We are moving on, and the next on the list we have Parental Bond, and it is the signature ability of Kangaskhan, the Kangaskhan, the Mega Kangaskhan for that matter. When the child and the parent, they attack together, and that's definitely an interesting ability. I faced Mega Kangaskhan once, and it was my opponent was using Power Up Punch, so I was able to get up to +2. And I actually had a not Mega Ditto, but a Imposter Ditto to copy it, and I saw he was using, I believe, Return, Power Up Punch, Sucker Punch for that priority, and then I believe the last move was Earthquake, so pretty good coverage right there, and the fact that you can attack twice can definitely make, that's the specific thing for Mega Kangaskhan, what makes it set apart from the rest of the random normal types and mega evolutions in general. A unique ability that makes it attack twice, and it's definitely a good ability for that matter that Kangaskhan can definitely put into use. And when you hit 2 stab returns, you can definitely hit anything really hard. And the Power Up Punch, you know, you have the attack that also it's an attack that basically gives you like sword stance technically, but only 40 base power, but still you can definitely put it to use. And nice ability that I would definitely like to try it out, but I don't have a Kangaskhan yet, but eventually I hope that I will get that ability and Mega Kangaskhan in general and try it out, but great ability for it, definitely. Then next on the list we have Pixilate, and much like Aerilate, this ability turns normal type moves into fairy type moves. It is learned by Gardevoir and Sylveon, and I don't really know about this ability because Gardevoir and Sylveon, they are fairy types to begin with that have access to good fairy type moves such as Moonblast, so I don't know how these Pokemon could actually use these abilities. Like, this kind of ability would be good on a Pokemon that doesn't learn fairy type moves to begin with, so this way it could have fairy type attacks, but it's on fairy Pokemon that already have Moonblast, which is good. So like, I don't think they learn any good higher base power, because Moonblast I believe is base 95 base power. So do they, both of them are special attackers, more special attackers, so do they learn any normal type moves that would have higher base power than 95 that they could actually use besides Hyper Beam? But don't use Hyper Beam because it's not good, it has never been. And although I guess in first gen it was kind of glitched and stuff, you could switch out, and yeah. But enough of that. Yeah, first gen is not relevant to Gen 6 anyways. But don't run Hyper Beam, don't do it. So like, if this ability is given to something that would not normally learn fairy type moves, then I think it would be actually a pretty decent ability, but at least at this time, like, it's not really doing much. Then next on the list we have Protean, and that is learned by the Greninja family and Kecleon. And this ability basically changes the type of the Pokemon whenever it attacks to the move it's going to be using, and indeed it's going to the move it's going to be using, it's about to use. So definitely, like, I've been facing few of these Protean Greninjas, and it's been some shenanigans because I've been trying to hit it for some super effective damage, but then it just changes its typing into something completely different, and then I'm not able to actually KO it. So that's kind of cool. Like, if you have Greninja, like, to begin with, it is part water and dark. So for example, I've been seeing, I don't know if it's gonna be a common move on it, but I've been seeing extrasensory on it. So when it's about to use extrasensory, it first turns into psychic type, and then it uses the extrasensory. And what is of course interesting in that when it turns into psychic type, it will also get stab. So basically, whatever move Greninja uses, it will gain also same type attack bonus from it. So it will get a nice boost from every move it uses. Plus, you have to have that prediction game kind of, although Greninja is kind of weak, so in a sense it cannot really abuse this ability as much, I guess, in that sense. But, you know, then again, it would be kind of situational on a wall to have this ability anyways. But, like, you still have to have the mind game, like, you know, it's going to be using this move, so it's going to be turning into this type of Pokemon, so instead of going for this move, I should actually use, like, let's say it's gonna, you know, it's gonna be using extra sensory. You know, yeah, you know it's gonna be using extra sensory, so you might as well use a dark type move against it, so you can actually KO it because it turns into a psychic type, for example. Or I guess a more better example would be if you have a ghost type and you know it's gonna, well then again, like. But yeah, just the point being, you kind of have to play around and then kind of just think more when you're facing Greninja. But definitely an interesting ability, and the fact that it gains stab from everything, as far as I know, like that's how it should work. You turn into Psychic type, you get Psychic type stab moves in that case. So you get that nice boost, and it's definitely a great ability on it, and you can play some nice mind games on it, and it's definitely one of my favorite abilities of this generation, besides like Gale Wings, definitely. And would be interesting to see it on more Pokemon. On Kecleon, like it's Kecleon, it's not really competitively good, so enough of Kecleon, and then we are going to move on. And next on the list, we have Refrigerate, and that turns normal type moves into ice type moves. But at this time, much like with the Pixilate ability, it is learned by Ice type, which already gets strong Ice type moves, so what is the point of this ability, really? It is learned by Aurorus and its pre-evolution Amaura. And Aurorus has access to Ice Beam and Blizzard, and Ice Beam, I guess, would be the more relevant move. I don't think it gets any... Again, it's like, if you want to have Ice type Hyper Beam, then go for it, but it's still not a good move, so... Like, again, this ability would be best used on a Pokemon that normally wouldn't get Ice-type moves, but now could. But, yeah, at least at this time, with this distribution, it's kind of not really a relevant ability. And I believe, like, Aurorus gets access to Hail anyway, so if you want to be running some Hail team, you might as well use the Hail summoning ability to make it part of the Weather Wars, so there is that. And this just in, I'm adding this part as a post-commentary to this session, because I was looking at the comments in the previous part, and somebody was pointing out that the Pokemon or Mega Pinsir that has the Aerilate ability also, on top of changing normal type moves to flying type, also gains a 30% boost, and that also applies to the abilities Pixilate and Refrigerate, which is rather interesting. So the ability kind of has a nice little buff there, but still the point remains with Pixilate and Refrigerate that the Pokemon that have it don't really have any good normal type moves that they could really abuse. And then another question is, because they do receive like a 30% boost, which is actually the same amount as Life Orb, so it's kind of significant. Do these normal type moves actually receive stab as they turn into ice type moves, or are they still considered normal type moves, but they just do like ice type damage? But like, are you getting the point I'm going at? Because, you know, it's a normal type move to begin with. Does this ability actually turn it into ice type in a sense that the Pokemon using it would receive stab as in the same type attack bonus, which is 1.5? So does the 1.3 go on top of 1.5, or is it only 1.3 because there is no stab to begin with, so they needed to make this kind of little buff for it? So that is now kind of a mystery, but, you know, in a way, a nice little buff for these abilities. But again, Refrigerate and Pixilate Pokemon, they already have better moves than the normal type ones they get, so that's kind of like, it doesn't really matter in that sense. But we shall see. If you guys know better, let me know, and we move on. And then, Next on the list, we got a stance change, which is the signature ability of Aegislash. I think if you have done any competitive battles, you have already run into this thing because everybody uses Aegislash. It is definitely one of the most interesting Pokemon of this generation, and basically Aegislash, it has, in standard defense form, it has 150 base defenses, physical and special, and when it uses the stance change ability, so basically whenever Aegislash uses an attacking move, it will turn into attacking stance, and then its stats will basically get flip-flopped, and it will actually have 150 attack. And then with the special move King's Shield, it is able to turn back into this defensive form, which will also, it works kind of like Protect. It will turn Aegislash into defensive form and protect it from all attacks. But you can still like Spore it and Will-O-Wisp it and stuff like that. You can use the status move on it, but it will just basically change its stance. That's the specific move that it has to go with this stance change ability. And whenever you're facing Aegislash, it's always mind games. Is it going to be using King's Shield? Should I perhaps like boost up here? Should I just try to attack it? Is that thing going to attack me and kind of just 2-hit KO me? Or is that thing going to boost up? Like, what in the world is it going to do? It's always mind games with Aegislash, and it's definitely a good ability, a great ability, and that is what makes Aegislash really unique. One of the top tier Pokemon of this generation, without a doubt. But we all know Aegislash, it's always up to shenanigans. But yeah, signature ability of Aegislash, and a great at it. And we move on. Next on the list, we have a Strong Jaw. And at this time, it is only learned, or Pokemon that have this ability are Tyrantrum and Tyrant. And well, I guess there's a thing that with Generation 6, they wanted to give the fossil Pokemon their own special ability, so they went with Strong Jaw for the Tyrant, and then with the Refrigerate for the Aurorus and its evolution. So I guess that's kind of a thing apparently. But basically this ability boosts up the some biting moves, such as Bite, Crunch, Fire Fang, Ice Fang, Poison Fang, Thunder Fang, and I believe also Hyper Fang. So if you have some elemental fangs, I do believe Tyrantrum or Tyrant can get those through some egg moves. So you could have some elemental fangs if you really want. But I believe Tyrantrum also gets Rock Head, and it does have Head Smash. So that might just be the preferred ability, because you have a 150 base power move with no recoil. That just kind of makes up for all the coverage, because you just kind of destroy everything with that. So I guess you could have this move. I don't know. Tyrantrum at this moment kind of seems like it's going to be a lower tier Pokemon. So whenever the tiers are actually going to be made and set up, you know, you may have some specific needs. You have to take down some bulky water with Tyrantrum, which would normally kind of like counter it. And then you have access to the, you know, Strong Jaw boosted Thunder Fang, and it could actually do the job. But you know, I still think the it's gonna be a hard pick between Strong Jaw and the Rock Head that Tyrantrum gets. But still, I guess a decent ability to have to boost up some weaker moves that you may not be using otherwise. So it may have some uses, but still Tyrantrum kind of gonna be a lower tier Pokemon. So we shall see how that's gonna go. Then, next on the list, we have Sweet Veil, which prevents allied Pokemon from falling asleep. And that is learned by Slurpuff and Swirlix. So that's kind of the counterpart for the Aroma Pokemon, the whatchamacallit, the I have to check on my list, what was it again? Aromatisse. And this is definitely another interesting ability, because this Pokemon cannot be put to sleep. And again, this could be huge in doubles, because this means that this Pokemon Slurpuff and its allied Pokemon cannot be put to sleep. And you know, when you play VGCs, there is no sleep clause. You can put everything to sleep, which is kind of stupid, but that's the rules in VGCs. You can do that. Sleep powder Pokemon and mostly just boring Breloom and whatchamacallit, watch the mushroom Pokemon. The what in the world is it? Fungus Among Us. Yeah, that thing runs Spore every time. So you can have this Pokemon to counter it, and then this Pokemon and your partner cannot be put to sleep, and this could definitely have a big impact on the double scene. And I think, well, I don't know about the bulk of this Pokemon, but I guess it could still provide you with some great support for the team. Because, yeah, sleep moves are everywhere, and when there's an ability that prevents Pokemon from being put to sleep, even if it kind of isn't really that good, as in Slurpuff, you know, it could still be used only because of this wonderful ability. But, yeah, that's all I pretty much have to say about it. In doubles, it may definitely have some impact, because there are no abilities alike, really. Except for random Vital Spirit ones, which are kind of situational. But this brings support for both of your Pokemon, so on that aspect it's definitely better than Vital Spirit or any other same kind of abilities like that. But then we move on, we got Symbiosis, and this is an ability that is learned by the Florges family. Didn't this thing have like some sort of other signature ability, new ability already? Well, I guess it has more, because, yeah, Symbiosis makes it so that this Pokemon can pass an item to an ally. So again, this is only really useful in doubles, but even then, I guess kind of a situational item. I don't know if you have like some sort of berry that your ally Pokemon would use, and then you would pass this item to that Pokemon that just used the berry or something. I don't know, extremely situational, I would say, and I don't think it's really gonna be seeing much use. I think the Sweet Veil and the Aroma Veil are definitely much better abilities to have around. So yeah, not really have much else to say about that. We are just going to be moving on to the next one, which is Tough Claws, and that is learned by Mega Charizard, Mega Aerodactyl, Barbaracle and Binacle, the new rock water type Pokemon, and it basically boosts up the power of contact moves, and it can definitely be a good ability, especially on Mega Charizard X that gets this. You can have Outrage and Flare Blitz, and I don't know what else does it get, like Brick Break maybe? That would make contact and get a boost from this move, but definitely stab moves in Fire and Dragon boosted by this ability. That's a great thing for Mega Charizard. It does have, I believe, higher attack, definitely, when it turns into Mega Charizard X form. And then you get a further boost by the Tough Claws, and definitely the best moves you can have on Mega Charizard are Flare Blitz and Outrage. But I guess if you want to have more, like, in a sense, reliable moves that don't have recoil or the chance of confusion, you could use like Fire Punch and then Dragon Claw. So those are options too that do get boosted by it. About Aerodactyl, I'm not really sure what does it, because like Stone Edge and EQ are the most common moves on Aerodactyl, but I guess it also gets some Elemental Fangs that would get boosted by it. So I guess it could put this ability to use. And then, like, I don't really know about the Barbaracle much. I guess it gets like Waterfall, or I'm not sure, but I hope it gets some sort of physical water type stab moves. And I think it has access to like Stone Edge, because it's like a water rock type. But I do know it has access to Shell Smash, at the very least, so it does have that sweeping potential. And if you got some good moves to go with Tough Claws, that thing could definitely be deadly. So yeah, there is that. And I believe on that note, I've been rambling on quite some time, and I'm most certainly gonna make this into like 2-part episode. Most definitely. This thing went on a lot longer. I was like, hey, 24 abilities, I can do that quickly, but I kind of had a bunch of things to say about each ability, so it kind of dragged on for too long. But on this note, I have covered all the new abilities, but I would still like to go through some of the old ones that have some new mechanics. Some of the old abilities have been changed, and starting with weather abilities that have been turned to last only 5 turns instead of forever. And I kind of did talk a bit about this already, and I would like to talk more about weather, so I'm not gonna really dive too deeply into drizzle or drought or sandstream snow warning, but definitely a huge impact that these abilities only last for 5 turns now, or 8 if you have a weather rock. Somebody was saying that they last now for 10 turns with the weather rock, but I believe that has already been proven false. There has been all sort of rumors going on, but with weather rock, these abilities, they last 8 turns. But big impact, and that this also probably means that Pokemon with Swift Swim, they could be used competitively, at least if you are playing by the Smogon tiers. So, because in the Generation 5 there was a ban that you couldn't use Drizzle and Swift Swim in your teams together, because Swift Swim is kind of a broken ability when you have Eternal Rain, but now that it's not Eternal, you could possibly use this combination competitively, at least if you are again playing by the Smogon tiers. And then I guess Excadrill might not be so broken when it doesn't have sand running around forever. It's gonna be its speed will get cut whenever the sandstorm ends, and you can just protect stall it and kind of switch around moves and flying type and levitators, and you know, try to predict around it. I guess Excadrill is still super powerful and it can kind of destroy everything, but without Eternal Sand, it's not, you know, that good. So we'll see how that works. But these abilities, weather abilities being nerfed is definitely a huge impact for the metagame. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes, but I'll talk about those abilities more. I would kind of like to make an episode possibly on weather, and if you have some more things that I should talk about weather, some references I should talk about in the future, let me know in the comments. But then we move on. Next on the list, old ability that got a buff is Infiltrator. And in the past, it is able to bypass Reflect Light Screen and Safeguard. Those moves are ignored by Infiltrator. But now, with Infiltrator, you are able to bypass Substitutes, which is definitely interesting. I have not seen this move in action, but I guess, like, really interesting. Like, if you're facing a substituting Gengar, it subs down on the switch, then you bring this Infiltrator user such as Noivern, and you go for like Hurricane, you can still just destroy that Gengar with like Hurricane, or I guess Draco Meteor would be the move of choice to be more reliable, but definitely a great buff for it. I don't really remember on the top of my head which Pokemon actually do get Infiltrator, although I could actually just quickly check which Pokemon do get it, except Bulbapedia is apparently giving me an error. So that's like, why does it give me an error right now? Why? There we go. Finally works. Alright. So Crobat, yeah, that Pokemon gets it. So that could definitely be nice, because Crobat being a poison type and with the presence of fairy types, Crobat might be more offensively present this generation. And with the Infiltrator, like, it could be used over Inner Focus. Although the fact that it cannot be flinch is still kind of nice. But definitely could be used. And then other Pokemon that get it, Spiritomb gets it. And yeah, Noivern gets it, Malamar gets it, although Malamar I believe is better with the contrary ability. Meowstic gets it, I don't know. I guess it might be used. Also, apparently Meowstic also has access to competitive. Wow, didn't know that. I guess the list that I was going through hasn't been fully updated, so maybe I should check on that again. But yeah, Spiritomb, Seviper, Jumpluff. But I guess Crobat and Noivern, that are kind of like fast, hard-hitting Pokemon, could make the best use of this new boosted Infiltrator. So there is that. And then next on the list, Keen Eye. And basically, in the past, this Pokemon's accuracy cannot be lowered. But now, in this generation, if the opposing Pokemon boosts up with something like Minimize or Double Team, it will also ignore those boosts, so it can still hit your opponent. So that's a decent, nice little boost. Doesn't really make too big of a difference, because like competitively speaking, moves such as Double Team, Minimize, and Evasion boosting moves are most likely gonna be like banned again, so it's kind of irrelevant, and it's always so stupid if you're gonna be relying on moves such as Double Team. So like, yeah. Enough of that. Then we got Oblivious, and these Pokemon, in the past, they cannot be attracted or infatuated. But now, in this generation, Gen 6, these Pokemon are also protected from Taunt. So that is pretty interesting, although Pokemon that get this are like Mamoswine and then Slowbro, but Slowbro and Slowking are definitely better off with their existing abilities, because yeah, they got Regenerator, so you want to have like definitely want to have that ability over like Infiltrator. Although the fact that you cannot be taunted is kind of nice, but still, I would say on Slowbro, Slowking, Regenerator is better. And let me actually take a look at which Pokemon actually get this ability. There are such Pokemon as Licky Licky, Walrein, Wishcas, Jinx, but I don't know, kind of situation. And even on Mamoswine, I think Thick Fat would be better. Although, like, if you're really scared of your opponent, like, taunting you, preventing you from setting up Stealth Rocks, then I guess you could be running Oblivious Mamoswine to be guaranteed to set your rocks and live with Focus Sash, and you know, just be guaranteed to set up rocks. So I guess on that aspect would be kind of nice. But there aren't really any good like walls that could use this ability, because again, Slowbro, Slowking, better off with that other ability, Regenerator. So yeah, there is that. And then last on the list, but not least, we got Overcoat. And in the past, I believe, how does it work? I believe it protects you from weather damage. Let me check that real quick. But now it also protects you from, yeah, it says protects you from sandstorm and hailstorm damage. Yeah. But now it also protects you from powder type moves. So, and a funny fact, like I was doing a battle on the Battle Myson, and over there I was fighting an Overcoat Fortress. I was trying to put it to sleep with my Breloom Spore, but it failed because of Overcoat, and I was like, what in the world is going on? I didn't even know about that, and that is definitely how it works in this generation. So it's actually now pretty, I guess it could be a pretty decent ability on Fortress, because you can put it to sleep with the most common abilities. I mean, the most common sleeping moves like Sleep Powder and Spores, so it could be a decent move, I guess. But like, Fortress still has, the Sturdy is still pretty useful, because you are guaranteed to live like any hit. So if you predict wrong, you get destroyed by a Fire Blast, you still live at one hit and get off your rocks. So I don't know, it could still have its uses, definitely. And there are some, what Pokemon actually get this ability? Reuniclus gets it. It's better off with Magic Guard. Scavalier, Mandibuzz, Cloyster gets it. Shelgon gets it, but Salamence doesn't get it because it has Moxie and everything. But I don't know. Like, I guess Mandibuzz could use it somewhat to not get weather damage. But then again, weather got nerfed in general, because there's no more eternal sand or hail anyway. So I guess kind of a situational ability. Like, a lot of these Pokemon have better abilities to begin with, so I don't know. I do not know. But still, I guess a nice little buff for the Overcoat ability. But I guess Fortress would be the best abuser of it, because it's slow, and you know, then it couldn't be put to sleep by something like Breloom, so it could be somewhat useful on it. But now I have pretty much went through this entire list, and this is already turning out to be like 1 hour long session, so I'm definitely going to be cutting this into 2 parts like I was rambling earlier. So I would like to thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Competitive Crunch, and if you have some topics again for me to discuss, certainly let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, it would be kind of cool to perhaps like answer some of your... I saw some good questions already, and I was actually thinking about answering some questions, but because this episode is already dragging out so long, I'm not going to be doing it this time. But I could potentially, like, if you guys give me a lot of good questions that are not like, what's your favorite Pokemon, like one word answers. If you have some deeper questions, I could, about the competitive scene and stuff like that, I could definitely make perhaps like a Q&A episode even. And if you have suggestions for future topics I could discuss, definitely let me know. I might be talking about some items perhaps next time. That would be a kind of a next step to take, because I just talked about abilities, maybe, so I could talk about the new items, maybe some new attacks, although there are a bunch more attacks, so we'll see. That would take probably 3 or 4 episodes, but we shall see. We shall see. If you got some topics in mind you would want me to see, what you would like me to do, and you would like to see that, let me know in the comment section below. And I really don't know what I'm talking, because I've been talking for like an hour now. And also I was like thinking like I could perhaps like, again, like that Talonflame and like Aegislash, those are really cool Pokemon, and there are lots of cool Pokemon in this generation. I would like to perhaps like, I could dive a bit deeper into some specific Pokemon and talk about them. I think that would be kind of a cool change of pace instead of talking about some more like general topics. So that might be cool. Let me know if you would like to see me do something like that. It's definitely an option. But yeah, let me know about everything. What do you want to see? Leave me some questions if you are interested in knowing. I could do that Q&A thing in this series. I think that would be cool. In general, I just want to have this kind of like an interactive, competitive Pokemon talk show where I can, you know, just interact with you people. And so far on the first 2 episodes, again, I really want to thank all of you for taking this series. Taking this series. It's not a serial, it's a series. Competitive Crunch, somebody was saying it would be a great serial, but anyways, I'm just rambling at this point. But yeah, let me know about everything, and again, thanks for your support for this series so far, and I will see you guys next time with a different topic, maybe with items, maybe with some of your suggestions. If you got some better ones, I will take them into consideration, and I will check you guys next time on Competitive Crunch. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, this is TheFlamingSpade signing out. Peace!